So yesterday we were trying to display the student data, fetching from database. Right? So after the class, I found what is the mistake. Like instead of loop, I used some other key. That's why data was not coming. Let me repeat from the beginning because there was confusion. Let's discuss this from beginning, like fetching the data, displaying. After that, we'll understand how to update it, delete it. Okay. Come first. Okay, settle first. Okay, so let's look into our program, like all the files once again, from starting from home.html, right? So here already we understood home.html, what we are doing, we are all taking all the student data, like student name, student email, student password, subject, mobile number, and button is called submit student. Okay. Then this submit student button, I am linked to save student URL. So in the URL, if you go to save student URL, I am linked to student data function. Okay. In student data function, what we are doing? Taking all the student details, student name, email, password, subject, mobile, all those things, and creating the student object. From the models, we created student class. For that, we are creating student object, and we are storing the data using student object.name, assigning all this front end data to the object, and using save button, we are storing the data. After storing the data, again, I am rendering that page to home page only. Okay, return render home page only. So this is so far clear for everyone. But from here, next step is getting the data from the database and displaying it. This is what we are going to discuss clearly now. Okay. Now for that, listen everyone now. If we miss single place, it will not behave accordingly, right? So you have to listen carefully, right? So now what we are going to do for displaying data, I want display HTML page. Okay. In this page, I am keeping just a button to display. As of now, what I'm doing, form method is post. Post means CSRF token you have to use must and should. Then input type, submit button, display student button. Okay. Now, when I click this button, okay, I have to link to some URL. So that URL I am defined in the urls.py. Okay. What is that URL name? Display. URL name is display. Now that display URL name I mapped with display function in my views.py. Okay. In display function, I am written the code here. What code I have written? If request.method is equal to post, right? I am getting all the student data from the database. For that, I discussed already. We have to create the object like student.objects.all. All means all records, all rows. It will fetch and store in this result variable. Okay. After this, I just creating the context like this result variable I want to send into my display student.html, where I want to format as a table, however you want design, you can do it. You can present your data, right? So now I'm creating the data is equal to students is my key, colon, this result is a object. All the students records will be present in that. Now, in order, I'm keeping the key as a students. Now, this entire data I'm sending to return render request display.student HTML and data I'm passed now. Okay. So now, when this first time display URL it's, I will get only display.html since it is get request. Okay. From the display.html, I will go here now. Yeah, first time I am hitting now display URL. This is the get request. Okay. Now, when I click this display student, now it is going to become post request. Makes sense. When it becomes post request, this condition becomes true. Okay. This condition becomes true if request is post. Okay. When button is pressed, that is the meaning. Now it will collect the data from the database and it will store the in a dictionary format, and it is going to render to display.html file with this data. Now I should have the display.html file in my templates where I am presenting all the data. Now in the display.html, what I am doing, observe, it is also simple. I am created the table. Okay. All the records what I am fetching from this model, like name, email, password, subject, mobile, along with the ID or serial number, whatever. I am designing inside this display student.html as a header. Okay. I mentioned one more new thing that I will explain later. Don't worry. This is the new thing. I will explain after this now. Don't worry now. So up to this mobile, I kept now. These fields are there, header now. Okay. Now that from the views, I am getting this data, right? That data is a collection of data now. Because in my student table, I have many students now. Many students. So that will get objects that all means all this will be get fetched actually. Now I have to iterate this inside this display student template using for loop. How? Curly braces percentage for this is the iterating variable student in what is the context key, that is students. I'm sending to the display.html. So this students I have to use here. Okay. For student in students. Following everybody? Now you can go and fill with the table data like this to the each row now. tr, td, curly braces, student.id, student.name, student.email, student.password, student.subject, student.mobile. Okay. For this much, all the data is going to be fetched for me. Now, let's observe. When I initiate the post request, I should get the data now. Okay. Click this display student. Yeah, that comment is coming. Don't worry that now. Student list are below. Now observe ID, name, email, password, subject, mobile. Action is extra. Now, first student in the database is ID number 1, Manish Kumar. All the data is coming now. Fine, right? How many students are there? All the data is coming for me. This is the what? Reading, fetching from the database. Understood everyone? With clear flow? Clear? Okay. Now, next we are going to understand is updating the students and deleting the students. Okay. So already I designed here. For each student, I can go particular record and update. Okay. And for each student, if I would like to delete, I can delete. That is what I mentioned here, buttons here. I think action I mentioned here. Okay. Action, update, delete for each one. How I created this? It is simple. where I included in the display student HTML page I included. Go here, display student HTML page in the action. Yeah. Header file, table header, I mentioned action. After that, for that action, I created a TD. Because when I click this, it should be, I'm created this like a hyperlink, or you can make like a button also, doesn't matter. But I am going with hyperlink. Okay. When I click this, it should take into some other file, some other page. That's why it is hyperlink now. I created like hyperlink now. So to create hyperlink, which tag will use in the HTML? Anchor tag. Everybody knows this. So I'm using anchor tag here. href. Okay. Now, what is this address, URL address I have to mention here, right? So URL address is, to create URL address, I have to follow this syntax in the DTL. Okay, Django template language, I have to follow this way. Like curly braces percentage, URL is the keyword. URL is the keyword. For these buttons, you no need to create actions in the templates actually. Okay. You're just creating URL itself here. When that button is clicked, that URL will be triggered. That URL will be triggered. That's the meaning here. Okay. Now, URL. Then what is the URL name? You have to mention it. That is update. Okay. Then here one more thing. When I take the cursor on top of this, when I click this, I should be able to modify or update only that student only. Now, how you can differentiate different records means different students means with the help of ID. Okay, because all the students will be having unique ID primary key, right? So that's what I want to somehow link this button to its particular ID. Okay, that's what I am doing here. After the URL name, like update, I'm telling to the Django, this update is mean to or limited to only this ID. Like here I know, right? Student.id means that you have to keep here, student.id. Because of this and button, like after this, whatever the text you have to display here, that is update, this text. Okay, that will come in. Now, when I keep the cursor on top of that, you can observe in the bottom of left corner, 8000/update/1. Everybody can observe that. Bottom, update/1. Because I'm keeping the Manish Kumar is the first student. Now, when I keep the cursor on top of second one, update/2, then update/3. So like that, we are linking each records for the CRUD operations. Now, this much is clear how to create this one, URL. Same way I created for delete also. Delete/1, delete/2, delete/3. Okay. Here, TD, href is equal to curly braces percentage, URL is a keyword, then delete is a URL name and student.id. And this delete is a text. Okay. So this is what, like, we just created the button. Now, I want to implement the functionality. Once I click this, what should happen? Once I click this delete, what should happen? That functionality I have to implement logically. Correct. So now think of it. When I click this update button, what should happen next time from your side? Once I click, for example, maybe you are logging into Facebook, let's assume. You'll go to profile. There is a profile setting. You'll click on profile setting. Then what will happen? They will send all your existing data. Your name, your username, your date of birth, whatever you given while registering, that existing data they will send pre-filled with the form, they will send back to you. Then you are good to update what data you want to update. You'll go the respective field and you will update it and you'll click on update button or submit button. That's what real time will happen. Correct. Same thing I have to implement here. When I click this update button, I should be able to open one form like update form, right? Where that form will be pre-filled with this particular selected student data. select a student data, and then user can able to modify whatever they want to modify, then update it. Makes sense. This is what we are going to do. We supposed to do actually programmatically. Now for that, what I required one update.html file where I want to create the form, where I want to pull out all the stored data of that particular student, and I want to show it first. Then I want to create an update button, and I have to link that update button to some view function, update function. Correct. Let's do that now. What we'll do now, go to update.html. Okay. I already created in the templates folder update.html. Here what I am doing, form action empty, because already URL I given in the that particular time only. Update, right? Now method is equal to post, class is equal to center. That is like this styling, right? Now, whatever the registration form is there, na? Like where is that registration form? In the ORM.html, right? Same form we are going to duplicate, because all the fields I have to get it once again. Student name, student, what is that? Email, password, subject, mobile, everything I want to get it once again. So what I did here, just I copied all the fields here again and changed how I want. That's it. See, student name, S name. Then I want to pre-fill the value, right? I want to pre-fill the value. That's why I'm using value attribute here. And pre-filling with student.name, student.email, student.password, student.subject, student.mobile, and update student button. Now, how this student.subject, student.mobile is coming from the views I am sending as a context. That's what, right? I must send as a context that student object. Then only I can able to access here, pre-fill the value of that particular student here. Make sense? This is what we are going to do, right? After this, what is the next step I want to follow? Tell me. Now, this will open up my, okay, I'll show you. When I click this, this is opening up my student table. I mean, update form with pre-filled data, because already I implemented the function. Okay, that's why it's pre-filling. Now to pre-fill this data, I want to implement the function now. That means update function in my views, right? In update function, what are the things you have to follow? Tell me. You have to create the def update function request and something. Then what are the things you have to follow? First, you have to fetch the data of the particular student. Like, of the particular student means, if I click on update of this first student, ID is 1. For that ID 1 student data, I want to fetch it. Correct? If I open this second student update thing, then for that second student ID data, I want to fetch it. So this should be happen dynamically based on the ID. Now here key point is what? ID of that particular student. Correct. So now somehow I have to link this programmatically. How ID is coming from this C. When I update /3, that 3 should go to my view function. If I click on update 2, that 2 should go to my view function. If I click on 1, then that 1 should go to my view function. That means I have to have one more parameter called ID to get that ID value. Understanding? So that's what I'm going to do here. Observe right now. Okay. Go to views function. Update function, observe now. Okay. What I'm doing? Def update request, comma. I told already ID parameter is required to collect the value of that particular ID user, right? I mean student, right? Now what I'm doing here, if the request is post, okay? If the request is post, okay. Before that, we'll talk about. I just minimize this post request. We'll talk about first request. What happens when I click on the this one, right? That time what will happen? I will be getting update.html file for the get request. In the update.html file, go to update.html file here. correct? In the update.html file, what I am doing? I am creating all the fields, student name, student email, student password, subject, mobile, all the fields. And I want to pre-filled with the value of the particular student. For that, also I have to write the code in my function. Understanding? So what I am doing here, when the first request, when it is opens the display.html, I should have the student data first to pre-fill. Correct. So that I'm again querying to the database. It's like creating object means querying only, right? Now what I'm doing, student object is equal to student.objects. Instead of getting all the student, like student.objects that all if you use, it will give me all the student. But now I don't want all the students. I want particular that student only. I want particularly that student only, select a student. So that there is one more function called get for getting a particular student now. Okay. So student.objects.get whom I want to get. ID is equal to ID. Whichever the student ID comes from that URL, that ID I am checking now. ID is equal to ID. That's it. Simple. Okay. Simple logic. Student.objects.get ID is equal to ID. You are assigning that. Now what this will do means, this statement will go to this, let's say my student table, whatever the ID will be coming now, it will match here. If the ID is 1, it will get this student, first student. If the ID is 3, it will get the third student. Somehow it will match. That's it, right? Now, after that, this, whatever the student I get, that student I have to send to the update.html file. Okay, that's what I'm sending here. See, return render request comma update.html student colon student object. Now, this student key I am using in the display.html, like, I'm sorry, not display.html, update.html, right? See, student.name, student.email, student.password, student.subject, student.mobile. So that data is pre-filling for me here in the first get request. Understanding? Now, last step we have to do, that is, once I click this update button, update student button, I have to modify the data, whatever the thing will happen here. Like if I change the name here somehow, right? And if I change the some other thing, like let's say mobile number also by mistakenly enter something, now I'll give something now. Okay. Now, once I click the update button, we should take updation. Now, if you observe here, that John at gmail.com 1234 and email and some different mobile number is there. Now, once I click this update button, okay, it is updated and redirect to the student display page. That's what I implemented now. Now, if you observe, that data updated is reflecting here. Like previously it was John, now John Smith. And mobile number previously 12345, now mobile number changed. Here it's coming means in the database also it must have updated actually. Right? See, John Smith, mobile number updated. Now this is how we are doing. This is happening because of post request. Clicking on the update button. Correct. Now I have to concentrate on the post request block in my update function. Makes sense. Now open the update function. Where is that? View. I just expand now. Okay. Here I'm checking request.method equals post, and whatever the, see, once, yeah, maybe I'll take this one now. Okay. Now, whatever the changes will happen with these fields, right? Again, I have to collect back. Again, I have to read this form data. Makes sense. Then I have to store corresponding to that student. Okay, that is what update we have to do, right? So here, student name I am changing. User may change any field. So I have to collect all the things now. I don't know which field user is going to change it, right? So that collectively all the field I have to read it. Now for that, what I'm doing, name is equal to request, same like student registration, what we done, right? Same like name is equal to request dot post name, email is equal to request dot post email, password is equal to request dot post password, subject is equal to request dot post subject, then mobile is equal to request dot post mobile. All the data I'm collecting. Okay. After collecting this, what you have to do? This data I have to store in a particular student only, whichever the student I am updating. So that already we know how to fetch that particular student. That object you have to create. How? Student object is equal to student dot objects that get ID is equal to ID. Okay. Now using that student object, you update now. Same way. Student object dot name is equal to assign this new updated name. Student dot object dot email is equal to assign that new updated email. Student object dot password is equal to password. Student object dot subject is equal to subject. Same way, mobile is equal to mobile. Then after updating all these things, initializations, changes, save it finally. So student object dot save it. After doing this save, what next I have to do? I have to send that click updation. After updating, display student HTML page only to see that reflection is happening or not, right? So that's why I'm getting once again all the student objects like student.objects.all. Then I'm rendering the request to display.student.html with this context students.data. Okay, where in the display.students, same thing I'm looping like for student in students, all the fields that will be reflected over there. Okay, so let's check it here. Once I maybe here Manish is there. Manish Pandey will do. Cricketer, right? I think I don't know. Pandey spelling. Correct? Let it keep that. Okay. Now update. See now? Yeah. It's changed now. Manish Pandey and updated and it's reflecting this. This is how update operation you are going to perform. Understanding all of you? Correct? Now we are able to read, we are able to display, we are able to update. All three important operations of my database. Correct? Now, if I want to delete something unnecessary records present in my database, means it will be cost me a lot in the storage. So I have to delete it. Correct. Now to delete it also same procedure you have to follow, but it is not complex of this update. It is simple only. Okay. How I will tell you. Now, if you click this delete, okay, one more thing I missed this guy. Okay. All these things, how it is coming, you people will not ask. See, update/1 URL is coming now. Update/2 URL is coming now. That URL also you have to define actually. Okay, let me show you. I forget. Here, see. When I click this, that should have URL actually, corresponding URL. See, that I am mapping here, right? Where is that? In my display. Yeah. See, URL.update means update student ID. Corresponding this URL should be here also. See how to create that path update / because that ID should come, right? For that ID is always integer. So that you have to give here like angular bracket int :ID. Okay. Then same thing, we use that update comma. Here one another field I am using here called name is equal to update. Just giving for resolving conflict. This is what standard way we are going to do. For all the URLs, we'll keep like this only. This name we are commonly going to use whatever the function name we'll keep. Na? Same name we'll use. That's it. Because I'm telling to the Django, this function name, that particular name going to be same. You don't worry. Go and match with and execute it. That's it. Okay. Now, again, delete /int :ID within the angular bracket. Views that delete name is equal to delete. So this URL must be, you must create in the urls.py. That is going to complete our implementation. Okay. Now, corresponding URLs corresponding functions, you have to implement the functionality. Now, what we are doing here now? Same thing. That URL will be give me ID, right? That ID you have to catch in the request of the delete function. Here also same thing. Which record you have to delete? Whichever the student you will select, whichever the ID you will get it, that record only you have to delete it. Correct. Same thing. Student.objects.get ID is equal to ID, get that particular student. Correct. Then instead of save button, here there is a ORM method. We have delete button, delete function. So Student.object.delete function, you use it simply. That's it. Okay. No need to do any more thing. After deleting it, what will you do? You will fetch all the records from the table and render to display.student.html with the data students. That's it. Okay. Now, after deleting, whichever the leftover students will be there, that will be displayed for me. Okay, that's what going to happen. Now, here I'm not using if request.method post and all, because I'm not going to create any delete HTML file. Not required for me, because I don't want to show anything pictorially for the user for deleting. Nothing. It should happen backend only. Correct. Once they click on the button, it should delete and show the remaining students, remaining data. That's it for me, right? So here nothing like get request, post request coming to the picture, right? Only one request will happen. Click, delete. That's it, right? Now, let's check this implementation. Going to our display student page here. Now I'm having 3 students currently. Refresh. Okay. Yeah. We are having 3 students now. Now, once I delete this, maybe Ashok, something is there. If I click this, see, it's deleted and refresh the data within in the same page, right? Now, this should be reflected in the database side also, actually. Just for verification, I'm coming here and verifying you. See, it's deleted. It's deleted. Okay. So you have to practice these things rigorously unless you people get familiarity. Okay. These things are the main 4 pillars. Creating the data means storing the data, saving the data, then reading the data, then updating the data, and deleting the data. If you know these 4 operations, you can design and create any kind of websites basically. These are the main operations you are going to perform. Okay. This is like one simple project we have done now, student management system. So using this, you can expand it. You can create one more model like trainer. Okay. You can implement those operations. You can keep other module also. You can implement one more model. You can create one more model like library. Okay. You can implement all those things as a separate app. You can link between them. Okay. That thing we'll talk about later. Like one example I'll give you, like how to link one model to other model, like a foreign key constraint how to apply. In the normal MySQL and all will apply, right? One table to other table will link it through the foreign key constraint. And from that table, we'll fetch other table data as well, right? Same way like. Up to this, any doubt? Everybody able to understood? Without ID, how to do it? Without your name, how I can call you? Can't, right? Without ID, you can't delete it. Particular method you can't do. Without ID, if you trying to do means everything will get deleted. You'll fetch all the records, you'll do delete, all the records will delete. Okay, listen to me. You know SQL query, right? You'll do something like this. Select star from students. Then I will get all the records. Okay. Then you'll do something like this also. Select star from students where ID is equal to 1. Then you will get first student data only. Can you get first student data without giving their ID from the SQL query? Name. Huh? Name. But name may be same in the, what's your name? Rajinish. Rajinish, two names will be in the my database. Then which one will delete? Both will delete. Both will delete. Phone number also will be different. Maybe same record will be executed. Okay, listen. I can eat like this. Correct. How I want to try to eat like this? See, name may be duplicated. Maybe some other thing may be duplicated. But ID, can it be duplicated? It is unique primary key. That's why you have to use with the mechanism of that, right? You should go with a structured way only, proper way. You should not think of how I can override that. No, already it is a feasible and good practice to do. You have to practice that only, correct? Okay. Now let's move on. I think I will give some time to copy these things for you guys. Copy this very. I think display already I have given for you guys. Update method in copy. Yeah. What? We have to overcome, we have to resolve the issue. First of all, is your first thing, right? Where is the views? Where is the student table? It's coming on, but in the loop, what is the mistake? The table on problem. Like you recreate this table. Okay. It's coming. When I create this student, it's coming. But into that table, it's not working properly. Create a table from beginning. Remove that and write it properly. Okay. Yeah. Take this delete function and like this also. What is the URL display? Display. STD. So when that views that display investment statement, so what's happening, you know, here you have to send two different types. Okay. When you are sending first request display, it is going to display that HTML only. When it goes to display that HTML, here you are checking these things now. This data is not there now. That's why that output is like error now, right? So this is data will come in the post request. Now that's why I created here display that HTML another file. You are not doing that. You have to create display that HTML file. There you have to hit display button. That's you are not doing this STD display. Then it's there now here. Okay. Same there here. Okay. Here, this are not required. Remove this. Here you just keep one button, display button. Then you can. Okay, anything else? Like getting the output? Make it work. Practice. After this working, okay, I assign one task option. Based on these CRUD operations, you must do it. Okay, what you want now? I think URLs part you take it. This URLs, right? So practice these things, these operations n number of times until you get a familiarity. Okay. All the steps you must able to do it easy like that. You have to practice. Okay. Now I think you should. Yeah, this is easy, right? You can do it by yourself. update.html file. Normal like home page you copy and paste, and only value you have to add it. Okay, with the update button. That's it. Okay, so now where is that? I will give one right. Yeah. So this database project, I will assign to you guys. You have to do it so that you will get all these steps involved. All these operations you will get familiarity and hands-on experience. This is like a mini project. You must do that with all these things. Let me. Oh, sorry, slideshow. Current. I'll explain what you people I'm expecting from this slide assignment task, right? Yeah. First thing is like home page. When I make a request to home page, I should get these three things like this: registration, login, show students. Same kind of thing, okay? Registration, login, show students. These three buttons are hyperlink. Whatever you want, you keep. Okay? Then once I click registration, it should open register page. It should collect the data. Student name, email, password, subject, mobile. See, whatever we discussed now, that we are making as a one mini project kind of thing here. Okay. Then once you click, then what happens? Taking data and click on register. You know what should be done? The data should be registered in the database. Okay. Then once you click on login button, I already given a simple task for you guys. Check the login things, right? You have to check whatever the email password you have given here, that you have to check. Email password is there in the database. If it is there, then you should tell login success. Otherwise, login failure. Make sense? Okay. That functionality you have to do. Like email password should be open, that form. Then email password should be checked and click on the login button. It should give the appropriate message. Then once you click on student, show student data, you should open me show student thing. All the student data should be displayed along with CRUD operation. Update, delete. That also you have to implement along with those things. So this is your capstone mini project. You have to complete this. Okay. Any doubt? Clear? Okay. Tomorrow we'll see how to work with the admin side of our Django. How to create a super user, how to interact with the admin side, how to register our model. From there, as a admin, how I can modify the data, maybe include the data, insert the data, all those things. After that, maybe we'll see, we'll move on to the something called templates, extending part and designing part. Something is pending, that we'll see. Like standardization of our layouts, that we'll see that tomorrow. Okay. So, okay, guys. So practice well, complete the task, this thing. We'll see you tomorrow.